now we have Jide, a public affairs analyst and public commentator, joining us live from Abuja to discuss this issue with NLC and the federal government. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good evening, Remide. It's my pleasure. How are you?
All right, thank you so much. So, what is your view and opinion of the current impasse between federal government and NLC, especially with the arrest of Joe Ajaero and eventual release?
Interestingly, it's an unfolding story. We do not have all the full information as to why he was picked up yesterday morning on his way to UK to attend to an official assignment. But it would seem in very recent past that Joe Ajaero as a person has been having a running battle with the Tinubu administration, first over issues of welfare of workers and largely that of Nigerian citizens. Recall that since last year, they have resisted several unpopular policies of government, one of which is the removal of fuel subsidy, and then some other macroeconomic policies that government has initiated. That was even long before the introduction of the new minimum wage, which lasted for some 4 months, about 6 months actually, because there were protests over the hardship and unprecedented cost of living, and then that nosedive into the call for new minimum wage of 152,000. After back and forth for like 4-5 months, they agreed to 70,000 minimum wage, and Joe Ajaero spearheaded that alongside with Sifo, who was the TUC president. But recall that there was a time Joe Ajaero was allegedly brutalized in Owerri when he went to enforce certain, I think it has to do with workers' rights in Owerri. He was brutalized by the security operatives, and NLC has to declare some warning strike, 2-day warning strike, I think. So from that time and now, it was alleged to have, the state has accused him of terrorism financing. That's the Nigerian police, for which he had answered the police query, police invite. And then the DSS picking him up at the international airport yesterday was the height of it. DSS has not volunteered any information, whether it has to do with the allegation of terrorism financing, which the Nigerian police has leveled against him. But the long and short of it is that eventually around past 11 p.m. yesterday, he was granted bail and was released. But it's still an unfolding story. We look forward to having the full details. Maybe they will press charges against him in court, and that will enable Nigerians to know exactly for what reasons he's been arrested.
Okay, all right. So do you think NLC's recent moves have been in the overall interest of Nigeria or strictly to serve the interest of the union and its leaders?
First, you need to understand that workers are Nigerians. So when you are even fighting for the welfare and well-being of workers, you are invariably also fighting for the welfare and well-being of Nigerian citizens, because labor creates wealth, and Nigeria Labour Congress and the counterparts in TUC are fighting not just for government workers, but all workers across board, whether you are in organized private sector, you are in informal sector, or you are in government employment. So to that extent, the straight answer is that the agitation by the Nigerian labor unions has been for Nigerians' emancipation, for the well-being and welfare of citizens of Nigeria. And it is within the rights of NLC to do so. Recall that Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended says that security and welfare of citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. And the Office of the Citizens is set to be the highest office in the land. We are to hold government to account. So the labor unions, through their agitation, even though it might be narrowly focusing on the welfare and well-being of Nigerian workers, in the larger interest, it is welfare and well-being of Nigerian citizenry. So to that extent, the agitation is not just parochial, it is generally for the welfare and betterment of Nigerian citizens.
Okay, all right. So what do you think will be the impact of this impasse on masses, particularly if the NLC is caged?
Well, history beckons, even under the military rule, where every attempt to have been made to demonize and to cage and gag the Nigerian labor unions, the military failed. And how much more under a civil administration? It's quite unfortunate what is rearing its ugly head in the contemporary times, because this is about shrinking of civic space. You may not agree with all that Nigerian labor unions are doing, but for God's sake, they are recognized by not only the Nigerian laws, but even the international labor laws. That is why you recall that early in the year, the Minister of State for Labor led a delegation to the International Labor Congress in Geneva while the negotiation for minimum wage was going on. So it is labor unions do just not drop from the sky. They are backed by Nigerian law. They are recognized by Nigerian law. That is why even the Nigerian government has Ministry of Labor and Productivity. So it is that important because labor creates wealth. So even any attempt to demonize, to cage, to gag, to harass, to molest the Nigerian labor unions will be resisted and will fail. It failed under the military with all the arsenal, with all the paraphernalia of instruments of coercion. How much more under a civil rule where you can even approach court, where you can go to international criminal court, where you can have the international labor unions coming to your aid. So all that the government of the day is trying to do, it's a futile attempt to just harass and cow the Nigerian labor union. And I don't see how they intend to succeed. The recent end bad governance protest, which held last month between August 1 to 10, was not fully the Nigerian labor unions did not fully participate in that because they just got the new minimum wage for their workers. But you can see that even when government is trying to deal with the labor unions, there are other centers of protest that will emerge. And I dare say that this is going to end up embarrassing the government because the world is a global village. It has become it's not even a global village again. It has become a global hamlet. And our president is going all over the world trying to shop for foreign direct investment, attending global summits. He just attended the FOCAC in China. He is going to UN General Assembly. What will you be telling them? That you are harassing the labor union in your country over what? What crime has Ajero and his labor leaders, what crime have they committed? If they have committed any crime that is known to Nigerian law, the best thing is to charge them to court and let them have their days in the court. Let the court and the judiciary decide their fate. But this whole harassment, molestation, name calling, labeling, of labor union leaders is not going to work. So successive administration have tried this and they have failed. If this administration decided to use the same strategy, they are going to fail because the labor union cannot be broken. The labor, even if you pick Ajero, there are different centers of labor, that will pick up the fight, even if Ajero is incarcerated. So
Okay,
it
all
is
right.
not in tandem with
We
democratic
thank you
tools
so much
to
for
know
sharing your
what the
views with
government
us on
is
the
trying
news.
to
Sorry
do.
to cut short the flow of your thoughts, but sadly we don't have much time on our side. Many thanks for joining us on our news.
It's my pleasure. Do enjoy the rest of your evening and keep safe. Yeah.
And you too, thank you. And that's Jide, a affairs analyst and public commentator.